The German tech tree CV line has the Rhine, the Weser, the Parzival, and the Richthofen. These 4 CVs have AP ammunition in both their rockets and their bombs. For the commander, more, faster, healthier will form the 9-point basic build for just about every CV in the game. After that, you could look into speccing into the secondaries, as the German secondaries are quite effective. Not to say that they're going to win the match or carry the day, but if it comes down to a secondary brawl, they are certainly something that can make things happen in a pinch. If you want to dive into this, you can definitely spec into the secondaries, but that's not to say that you'll use them every match, or even 1 out of 10 matches. This is something that it's nice to have in the back pocket, but it's not something that's required. As for additional things, I can highly recommend the Repair Specialist talent for the Parzival as well as the Richthofen, as you have heals on not only the torpedoes, but also the bombers. Having an additional charge of each on 2 planes instead of just the 1, as well as additional action time, makes this absolutely a wonderful German talent to have for the German CV tech line. The Graf Zeppelin, which does have a heal on the torpedoes, does not have a heal on the bombs, and this does not translate quite as well. For points after that, I cannot recommend the plus 3% damage to the AP rockets or the AP bombs. I find this to be an extremely anemic talent and not worthy of any consideration. Sight stab is simply unnecessary, as the German CVs all sight extremely quickly for their bombs, rockets, and torps. Additional bomber speed is simply an overindulgence, as the bombs go extremely fast as is, and while you could double down on that, I don't find any necessity to it, so I can't recommend this talent. Additional torp damage as well, the low damage torpedoes simply don't provide enough impact for this to be something to throw 4 points into. I can't recommend this talent. Additional flak resistance, you might look into this if you find yourself eating a lot of flak, simply because if that's the play pattern that you have, this will be useful. But the nimbleness of the German plane should be able to dodge the majority of the flak, so you cannot recommend this talent either. And Hidden Menace is bugged at this time. Please do not get this talent. As for torpedo aiming, speed, or reduced arming time, once again, these are not necessary, as the torps are extremely accurate and arm very quickly across all of the tech line. You could look into these perhaps with the Graf Zeppelin. I can't recommend them for the Lowenhart, as the Lowenhart torps are probably the worst in the game. But if you wanted to buff them, you could do something there. But in general, the torps on the Lowenhart are a last resort option only. As for additional boost consumables, you could consider the Engine Techie consumable, as you might be riding on the rocket planes for repeated strikes into a single target, and using that engine boost consumable can help you immensely in trying to line up the Citadel strikes off of AP rockets. Otherwise, additional engine boost is solid, and Last Gasp is potentially solid depending on what tier you're looking at going into. The German planes are fairly fragile, and you may not survive long enough to make a second strike. Over in the fighter tree, fighters can be unlocked for the German line, as their planes are extremely fast, which allows you to place fighters in positions that can defend friendly ships, potentially in time before a strike can come through. Having the additional movement and versatility to cover the map defensively as well as offensively means that the Parzival as well as the Richthofen could spec very heavily into the fighter tree and use that to rather great extent. As far as the slight 10% reload time for the secondary armament expert, I can't really recommend this. I don't think this is going to amount to the difference of a win or a loss in a game.